Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's weekly options watch list. Hopefully you all had a wonderful weekend and are looking forward to getting back to trading here come Monday. So before I get into the 5 stocks that I have my eyes on for the week, want to do a quick market breakdown on the ES futures here to see where we could potentially go this upcoming week. So let's get right into it. So if we zoom in here on the ES, we can see that we are finally starting to reclaim this 21 EMA. We now have had two solid closes above it and actually a rejection of it the last time we've tested it back up to the upside. So that is nice to see here on the ES. We do still have negatively stacked EMAs, so the trend overall is still very bearish, but structure is starting to shift a little bit, which means that we could be breaking that trend here very soon. Another thing I like to see is that we have started to form this low compression squeeze now on the daily time frame, which means that this could start to make a push higher or a reversion to the weekly 21 EMA, which I'll go over here in a sec. Another thing I want to keep my eye on is to see if we can make a higher high. So if we can have a close above these two wicks here, that would be a nice higher high on the market and also could be a change in the trend overall. So that's kind of what I'm watching here on the ES, is to see if we can break these current wicks to make a higher high, or if we go back down here and start creating new lower lows to see that the trend will then stay intact, or if we do start to actually break the trend and start moving back up to the upside. Now if we look at the weekly time frame here, we can see that that low compression squeeze has now officially fired. We've had 4 weeks of selling here, or the bearish momentum on the squeeze histogram, and we can see that we keep rejecting this 8 EMA here as we did previously to the downside. So what I want to watch is to see how the market reacts to this 8 EMA on the weekly time frame this week, if it even touches it, and then if it can surpass that level, and with that daily squeeze setting up, this could be what we need to get a push back up here to the weekly 21 EMA, which would be nice to see. And from there, we'll either have to start adding some shorts, or if it can break above that level, that would then be another change in structure, and it could start to turn into another bullish market. But as of right now, the overall market is still in a bearish downtrend. So that's kind of my overview of the market. Now I can get into the 5 plays that I'm actually looking at for the upcoming week. The first one here is going to be Citigroup to the downside, and let me move this back over to the daily time frame. So if we look here, we can see that we have negatively stacked DMAs. We're in a deceleration stage. A nice downtrend here with the Keltner channels. You can see they're pointing downwards, and we keep rejecting this 21 EMA here to the downside. So we had the strong sell-off, the reversion, the fall, and another reversion here, and history usually likes to repeat itself, so I will be looking to short if we can get another pop here to the 21 EMA. We're starting to form this daily squeeze here. Ideally want to see a few more dots form, but its overall structure here is looking nice to go to the downside. As long as this squeeze can start to roll over once again and start showing some of these bearish histogram bars as well. Next one here is Disney to the downside as well. If we zoom in here, similar to the city, you get the big sell-off, you get the reversion, you get the rejection on that reversion back down to the -2 ATR, and then once again we get that reversion here. It's starting to reject it, and it's looking like it's wanting to roll over as well. So this one looks very similar to the one I just went over. But if we get a pop back up to this 21 EMA, that would be a good place, in my opinion, to add a short here, as we do have negatively stacked EMAs, and our histogram is still below that 0 line, and its trend is to the downside. So this one has everything it needs to have a good trade to the downside. So next one here, we have PDD. This one is actually to the upside. So we see we have positively stacked DMAs with an acceleration stage. We had a nice consolidation period here with slow compression squeeze fired to the upside. Made a great move up here, kept pushing between this +1 and +2 ATR here, even got to the +3 ATR back here. And now we're consolidating once again, making a new daily squeeze as we kind of get closer to this 21 EMA. And I like that it has been holding it. So we touched it here, and we've also touched it here, and it has held above that level. So I do like this one to the upside. As long as it can still hold above this 21 EMA, then it is still a valid trade to the upside. Next one here is UNP to the downside. Negatively stacked DMAs once again. Nice downtrend here, as you can see from the Keltner channels all pointing downwards. And just like a lot of the other ones in the downtrends, has been rejecting that 21 EMA here for a long time now. We can look back, reject it here, reject it here, reject it here, and reject it here once again. So if we can get another pop back up to that 21 EMA, I think this one would be a solid one to the downside as well. And then last but not least, I've had this one on my watch list for a while now, but its structure is still valid. It is zoom to the upside. So we can see that we have had this daily squeeze get out of its mid compression squeeze into a low compression, which means it's kind of been or starting to fire here. And you can see that you got kind of that push down to about that 21, and then you got the pop to around the +2 ATR. Ideally want to see a retest of this 21 and hold. Take the entry there for another pop up to the +2 or +3 ATR. And another thing to keep your eyes here on Zoom especially is you do have a weekly squeeze with nice bullish momentum. Just want to see it hopefully crack above that weekly 21 EMA and hold above that. Then I think it will be a great trade to the upside because its structure on the weekly time frame will then have changed and it could start making another run up to the upside. So those are the top 5 stocks I'm looking at for the upcoming week. Hopefully it gives you all a few other things to add to your watch list as well. And let's go out there on Monday and start making some money, everybody.